Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of VSTAR Radio. So today, we need to look at a couple of super interesting Pokemon tool cards. We're going to be looking at a couple of Pokemon tool cards that can give any Pokemon V a VSTAR Power. Now, if anybody's wondering why I didn't bring these to you yesterday, the reason is rather simply, firstly, we had 2 new V-Stars to talk about. That was quite a lot. But secondly, there is a really important ruling, and I wanted to go around and have an ask of some of my professor friends, see if they agreed with me on the ruling. Although, as always, until cards are actually released and we have an actual proper ruling, all of this is merely a best guess situation. We can't guarantee that these are right for the minute, but it's still something that we need to... I didn't want to bring you a video about it until I'd asked some really good people who are really good on rulings what their opinion was. So let's start off with, I think, probably the most interesting of them. We've got Earth Tablet. Now, shout out, of course, to the lovely Antoine Billet for the translations, though, of course, I have had a good old go myself, because that's what I do nowadays. And what we've got is a Pokemon tool card that, when attached to a Pokemon V, allows them to use the VSTAR Power. And this shouldn't be a huge surprise to you guys, because, of course, we did get some of these in the Sun and Moon era. So, for instance, we got Dragonium Z Dragonclaw, which, for free colorless energy, discarded all basic energy from this Pokemon, and it did 80 damage for each card you discarded in this way, which was cool. The thing is, those kind of cards, we had a few of them in the Sun and Moon era, they could only be used by Pokemon that had certain attacks. So Dragonium Z Dragonclaw, as you may imagine, could only be used by Pokemon that had the attack Dragonclaw. That is not the case with these new VSTAR Powers tools. These can be used by any Pokemon as long as they are a Pokemon V, which opens things up massively. Now, we didn't actually have too many of the old ones. We just had Flyinium Z Air Slash, Normalium Z Tackle, and Dragonium Z Dragonclaw. I think I'm right. Searching over on pkmncars.com to have a look. If I've missed any, let me know in the comment section. So we got 2 here today, but it is absolutely possible that more could be coming in the future. Also worth pointing out, we got 2 of them here in this set. I'm assuming there aren't more in this set. There might be, but they would usually show them all at the same time. These are holo rares. They are trainer cards that are holo rares. So shout out in advance to anyone who opens a pack of Pokemon cards, and this is the rare that they get. So the more interesting of the 2, I think at least, although they are both pretty interesting, is Earth Tablet. This gives you free colorless energy, star gravity, put damage counters on all of your opponent's Pokemon V until they have 100 hit points remaining. So basically, you bring all of your opponent's Pokemon V that are currently in play down to 100 HP remaining. Now, this is kind of like a super-powered Galarian Rapidash V. Because remember, Galarian Rapidash V for 2 colorless energy has Libra Horn that allows you to put damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon until its remaining hit points are 100. Yeah, I really like this. Timing gets super awkward because you kind of have to try and use this when your opponent's got most of the Pokemon out. What you don't want to do is use this a little bit too early and put yourself in a situation where, you know, your opponent then just benches a bunch of other Pokemon, and you can either take out their Pokemon you want to take out or take out their weak Pokemon, but you can't do both. You want to try and time it here, so you're taking out Pokemon that you want to take out that also just so happen to be super weak, and that's kind of funny. Yeah, this could be awesome. And obviously at this stage, and I'm not the only one that's thought about this, let's be clear, but this could herald the return of Jolteon. Now, firstly, actually, you know what? Jolteon is a lightning-type Pokemon. And between Palkia, really good, weak to lightning, Flying Pikachu, really good, sees a huge amount of play, weak to lightning, And Lugia looks really good, can't be absolutely certain, but looks like it's going to see a bunch of play weak to Lightning. Lightning is legitimately going to be one of the best types to be using moving forward. But also, Jolteon has a really rather amazing attack. And remember that if you use Elemental Badge, it is a single energy attack, which is huge, that does 100 to the active and 100 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. Or to put it another way, after you've used this VSTAR Power, you get to, KO 2 Pokemon V at once with a single energy and take 4 prizes, which is clearly ridiculous. Yes, I know Manaphy's going to stop it, blah, blah, blah. That is kind of awkward, but, Manaphy's a thing. What do you want me to do about it? Do remember, you've always got that super awkward but kind of hilarious combo of using Boss's Orders to bring Manaphy active, then using Cancelling Cologne to turn off Manaphy's ability. It only works on active Pokemon, so you have got to bring Manaphy active first, and then taking out Manaphy and a bench Pokemon V for 3 prizes. It's not perfect, but it is kind of hilarious. So yeah, this seems kind of good. But I told you there was a ruling I wanted to try and figure out before I brought you this video. And that is, how does this work with Galarian Zapdos V? You see, Galarian Zapdos V has the ability Fighting Instincts. This Pokemon's attack costs are 1 colorless energy less for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. And this attack costs 3 colorless energy. So in theory, if your opponent has got 3 Pokemon V in play, and if you look around at the moment to the decks that are seeing a huge amount of play, that happens a lot, then this is a attack for 0 energy that will bring all of your opponent's Pokemon V down to 100 HP. Now, here's the thing. I cannot tell you for certain whether this works or not, and nobody can until we get an official ruling. I have tried searching through the compendium, trying to find if there's an equivalent ruling that's been made for instance, those older cards. And as it stands at the moment, I can't find one. But I think it does work. My inkling here is, and again, I am not 100%, I cannot tell you this for certain, nobody can. If you want to go in the comments and tell me I'm definitely right, no. And if you want to tell me I'm definitely wrong, no. Unless you are an experienced Pokemon professor who has got an absolute certain reason, but I would need an absolute concrete reason tied to a previous ruling in order to believe that you knew for certain. I don't believe this is a ruling we've got which is absolutely certain. I believe it's a ruling that's going to need to be made. Expect this to be in the Silver Tempest FAQ. Now, I know that over on PTCGO, this works with the tools I've shown you, with the GX tools, but PTCGO is not an official ruling. Let's be perfectly clear. So yes, it would work on PTCGO as currently coded, but PTCGO does not give official rulings and has been wrong in the past. But I believe essentially it's because Galarian Zapdos has the attack, so you can essentially lower the attack cost. Yes, I am fully aware of the ruling that Mew VMAX cannot copy scrolls, for instance, which, so if you look at Mew can copy attacks of any Fusion Strike Pokemon. And then you can look at Deoxys, which is Fusion Strike and Rapid Strike and Single Strike. And then, of course, Deoxys can have scrolls attached. And then Mew cannot copy, and we know this is an official ruling. I am fully aware of that ruling. That does not count here. That is Mew trying to copy an attack from another Pokemon on a scroll. It is not the same as trying to reduce the cost of an attack you give yourself with a tool. So yes, I am fully aware of that ruling. No, I don't think it's terribly relevant. I'm fairly sure that's not the same, because I know that with Mew it doesn't work. So, to be perfectly clear, I do believe this ruling would say that you can do it, but I am not 100%, and we do need to wait for an official ruling. As a side note, yes, Drapion V can also lower the cost, but because Drapion V is lowering the cost based on single, rapid, and Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, it is nowhere near as relevant as Zapdos, and if you're trying to use this tool on a Pokemon with an ability that can reduce the cost, you're going to use it on Galarian Zapdos. But keep this in mind, because Galarian Zapdos with this and Jolteon could be a redonkulous deck moving forward that you should absolutely have in mind. I'm going to be testing it. I love Jolteon. Before Jolteon kind of became terrible, it was my favourite deck for just going and laddering on PTCGO, spend a lazy evening, whack the telly on, play a bunch of games with Jolteon and just grind out a bunch of wins. This could bring Jolteon back to the front of the metagame. Not saying it will, just saying it could. This is a great tool. I'm giving it 4 Wassies. And that might end up being a little bit stingy. I really, really like this one. The other one is Grove Tablet, and it gives you the ability Star Alchemy that says during your turn you may search your deck for any one card and put it into your hand. Now, as much as I love Earth Tablet for the big power plays and the giant combos, Jolteon, etc., let me be perfectly clear. Any deck, and I mean any deck, which is playing Pokemon V that is not playing Pokemon V-Star needs to use this card. And actually, I've been saying all video that I prefer Earth Tablet. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm not entirely sure that's true. I might have lied to you. Not deliberately, but I might have lied to you. Because let's say, for argument's sake, I'm playing a single prize deck. So I play, I don't know, a Crobat and a Luminion. Because you know what? Single prize decks, they can be a little bit less, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent. So maybe I play one of each of those. Why would I not play one of this? Now, you can only use one VSTAR Power during your entire game, but essentially this becomes a Pokemon tool that lets you search for any card. So if I've got Luminion or Crobat on the field, I attach this, and then immediately use my VSTAR Power to search for any card. Because why would I not? I mean, if there was an item card that said, search your deck for any card and put it into your hand, that would be played as a 4 of in every deck. It would be absolutely broken. So with that borne in mind, this has to be an absolute staple in any deck that isn't using a V-Star Power. Now again, if you're playing a Palkia deck, you've got a V-Star Power you're going to be using. If you're playing an Arceus deck, you've got a V-Star Power you're going to be using. This is not going to be any good. But if you're either playing a Pokemon V deck without V-Stars, or you're playing a Pokemon V Max deck without V-Stars, or you're playing a single prize deck without Pokemon V, but you are still doing things like, playing Luminion and Crobat, this should be an absolute given. And I've changed my mind. This is a 5 Wossie card. I adore this. What was I thinking earlier in the video? And don't get me wrong, I love Earth Tablet. Earth Tablet is great. And it leads to some fancy combos. And there's not as much to say about this one. But my idea on this is extremely clear. If you are playing Pokemon V in any count, and you're not playing a V-Star, or you don't have a V-Star Power that you really like to use, play this card. Play it as a one-of, and then when you draw it, attach it to your Pokemon V, use the ability. It's an ability, who cares? Doesn't matter when you use it. And then search for any one card. This is kind of broken. I love this. And I'm thinking about all the single prize decks I'm testing at the moment, and there are a bunch of them. There is a 100% chance I'm going to put this into that deck. In all of those decks. Because I've got to play stuff like Luminion. So I draw this, I attach it to my Luminion, I search for any card. That's ridiculous. It's a 5 Wossie card. No question. Both of these are really good. And the thing is, those GX tools I showed you earlier, they weren't good. They saw almost no play. They weren't particularly good cards. I actually really like both of these. Maybe we'll get more in this set. Maybe we'll get more in future sets. Maybe these are the only 2 we ever see. Either way, I really like them, and you need to keep these in mind. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about them. I want to know which one you like the most. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon card games, Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts for answer all of your questions, join a Discord to chat Pokemon with us, all kinds of fun things. And of course, we give shout outs to people like the lovely Andy White, who is a rather lovely patron who's been around for quite a while. They're a very lovely person. Thank you very much for being a lovely person and for all the support. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.